Hi everyone, it's Mr. Tristan, and welcome to episode 3 of our Survivor 50 recap. Now this time, I actually have notes because I tried to talk about what goes on in order in the episode, and I cannot remember for the life of me what the order of everything that goes on because there's a lot that goes on in each episode, and I want to make sure that I get this all right. So I went back to the episode, wrote some notes down, and now we're ready to get started. So the episode starts off with Sela coming back from Tribal after they had just voted out Savannah, and Rick and Christian are celebrating their little heist that they pulled off, where they took this parchment from the idol that Christian found, and they hid it at Tribal. And I honestly hope that someone finds it and thinks that they found an idol just to realize that there's nothing there. I think there's nothing there, or maybe they did make something and they planted it in there. I don't know. We'll see. So the next morning, when they got tree mail, they started to anticipate that there could be a potential swap. So Christian and Rick decided that they needed to inform the rest of their alliance about the idol. They were able to tell Cirie, but they were not able to tell Emily at the time because Emily was never alone. Then, when everyone got together and were getting ready for the tribe swap, that's when Christian was able to tell Emily that they found this boomerang idol and gave it to Aubrey. Emily did not take this well. She was like, "Why are you just telling me this now?" And I was just like, "Emily, they tried to tell you, but they couldn't because you're always talking with people." So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. So as they were getting to the swap, Jeff started doing this little rap with everybody snapping their fingers to the beat. A lot of people found that really corny and cringy. I didn't really mind it. I thought it was kind of funny. But anyway, so the swap happened, and then we got 3 new tribes, which I could not remember in my head, so I had to include it in my notes. So on the new Vaatu, there's Christian, Mike, Emily, Ozzy, Stephanie, Q, and Angelina. Which, funny thing, I did mention how the 3 people from David versus Goliath would be on the same tribe. I don't know how that's going to work out for them. The new Sela is Charlie, Dee, Rizzo, Camilla, Jonathan, Cirie, and Rick. And the new Kahlo is Aubrey, Joe, Genevieve, Coach, Chrissy, Colby, and Tiffany. And one of the things that was said was Christian was like, "Did you vote for a swap?" And I was like, "I did." So we start off with the new Kahlo tribe, where Coach, Colby, and Joe talked about forming an alliance, and because Coach talked about the honor and integrity thing, which I know people are really tired of hearing. Me, I'm just like, that's his thing. Let him do his thing, whatever. Plus, I love these 3. Coach, Colby, Joe, love them all. I hope they make it far. And then, Coach ended up going to Chrissy to inform her that the original tribe was talking about targeting her because of her, her over-the-top mothering, and how she kind of talks too much, because he just wanted to help Chrissy. And hearing this information actually upset Chrissy. And it got to the point where Chrissy was actually talking about how she has this thing where she's like 85% likely to develop breast cancer, which I did not know. And I know that I wasn't a fan of Chrissy in her original season, but this time she's not really bothering me, and I actually felt bad for her. So I do hope that she can find a way to get herself out of this situation. So now we go to the Sela tribe, where it turns out Cirie and Rizzo have actually met before at a Survivor event, and Cirie just did not even realize it. Cirie's not really a fan of having Rizzo at camp. I think it's just because of his, hyperactivity or something like that. I mean, Rizzo is a super fan, like I am. I mean, if I was on a tribe with Cirie, I'd probably be fanboying on the inside. But when you're in the game of Survivor, you have to remember to try to kind of tone it down. And meanwhile, Dee and Jonathan are talking about how they love Cirie, but they know that they cannot let her get too far. Because Cirie is really good at this game. she may not be good at challenges, but she makes up for it with her social and strategic gameplay. That's why she makes it to the final episode almost every time. Even Dee was talking about how she loves Suri, but her friends were telling her that she cannot let Suri get too far. I mean, I like Suri, but if I was playing with Suri, I'd probably try to get her out as soon as possible. Although I wouldn't try to get her out the first tribal like Jenna tried to. I would try to act like I'm on her side and then eventually find the opportunity to blindside her. And then we get to Vaatu, where the David versus Goliath trio is reunited, and then Emily, still mad at Christian for not telling her earlier about the idol. What does she do? She ends up telling everybody else about Christian finding the idol and giving it to Aubrey. Why? Why? Why would you do this? So Q ends up relating to Stephanie about this information and starts coming with a plan to target the trio, starting with Angelina, and even tells Emily and Ozzy about this. And while talking to Angelina, Emily ends up telling Angelina that she is becoming a target, which really upset Angelina. And honestly, I don't blame her. And this is another case where I did say I was not a fan of Angelina last time because of her melodramatic gameplay. But I did feel bad for Angelina in this case. And then what does Emily do now? She goes over to Christian and spills the beans about what she told everyone else. And Christian's reaction was my reaction watching the episode. Why? Why? It's supposed to be a secret. Like, this is why I was not a fan of Emily in her original season. Because I don't think she's really good at this game. I think she is a very messy player. She was messy in 45, and she's messy this time. Like, why would you throw your own allies under the bus immediately and then confess to that ally that you threw under the bus? Why? Now, if Christian did not already have a target on his back because he's reunited with Mike and Angelina, he definitely has a target on his back now. Back at Callow, Genevieve is trying to improve from the last time she played, where she actually tries to have a social game and tries to form bonds with people. And it ended up being everybody except Aubrey, because Genevieve was actually planning on targeting Aubrey. And it seemed like everybody was on board with that, until Tiffany ended up spilling the beans to Aubrey about this information. Now keep in mind, like I said before, Aubrey has the boomerang idol that Christian gave her. So if her tribe ends up going to tribal, I think that Aubrey might be more likely to play the idol. Or she could save it and she could end up going out the same way she did in Edge of Extinction. So we go back to Sela, where Rizzo realizes that he needs to find allies, so he tried to find one in Charlie. Now, the conversations kind of started when Rizzo brought up the finale of Survivor 46 and asked Charlie if he and Maria have spoken. And Charlie revealed that they have not spoken since before the finale aired. Which, honestly, I don't blame him, because I still think that Maria made a mistake in the voting, because her reasons for voting Kenzie to win does not really correlate with the gameplay. Honestly, like, she mainly voted for Kenzie because based on what she was going to do with the money, like, getting married, wanting to start a family. That's honestly not a good reason to vote for somebody to win Survivor. I mean, I want to get married and have kids one day. Does that mean I should win Survivor? No, it does not. So that's just my take on it. So later, Charlie and Rizzo are at the hammock talking, and Rizzo revealed to Charlie information regarding the Billie Eilish boomerang idol. I know I kept bringing that up, but that kind of topic just keeps coming up in this episode. And Charlie thought that that was really interesting information. However, the night before, there was a conversation where the tribe asked Rizzo who his number one ally was, and he said it was Soph. Now, I think he said that as like a kind of like a cover up because Savannah was on 50, and I think he wanted to hide the fact that Savannah was actually his number one ally. But when they asked him if he voted for Soph to win, he revealed that he voted for Savannah. So Charlie heard that and started to realize that Rizzo said his number one ally made it to the end, but he did not vote for her, which really rubbed him the wrong way because it just brought him back to 46. So now Charlie is more likely going to target Rizzo if his tribe goes to tribal. Luckily, though, that didn't happen for Rizzo because they got to the immunity challenge where it was the one where someone's like, everyone's like blindfolded except for one person. The other person's like the caller. They take these bags and take them over to, or no, they take the keys and bring them back to the platform. Then the caller has to guide their tribe mates to this puzzle where two people, while still blindfolded, have to try to solve this puzzle. And when it came down to it, Vaatu ended up losing the immunity challenge, which meant that Christian, Emily, and Ozzy will be going to their third straight tribal. But this also meant that Rick made history by finally winning a tribal immunity challenge. Because in Edge of Extinction, he went to every tribal council in the beginning of the game until he was voted out. Then when he won his way back in, the tribes had merged. So this was a big deal for Rick, and I'm really happy for him. So back at camp, Vaatu was getting ready for tribal, and Mike, out of nowhere, told Stephanie to her face that he was thinking of throwing a vote her way. However, when it got to him, Angelina, and Christian, he actually revealed that he wanted to vote for Q, which I thought was out of the blue. Oh yeah, keep in mind, Q still doesn't have a vote because he gave it up to Ozzy on Exile Island. So because Q knows that Mike said he was going to vote for Stephanie, in a way to try to protect Stephanie, he told Mike, hey man, vote for me. That way, even though he doesn't have a vote, he can get the votes to save Stephanie. Unfortunately for Q, that's what Mike was going to do anyway. Of course, he didn't know that. And then brought this information up to Emily, who had a conversation with Ozzy about voting for Q. And at first, Ozzy was just kind of, Oh, I almost forgot. So the other tribe mates were talking about who from the trio they wanted to target, and they decided on Angelina. So it was like, it was between Q and Angelina. And I think Ozzy was initially on board to vote for Angelina, but Emily was like, I was thinking we vote Q first, Angelina second. And Ozzy kind of hesitated on that, considering, the time they spent on Exile and stuff like that. And I don't think Ozzy trusts Angelina at all. So Emily was just kind of thinking, which way do I go? Do I vote for Angelina? Do I vote for Q? What do I do? Well, at Tribal Council, we find out the answer, where the vote was actually 5-1. Q ended up being the fourth person to leave Survivor 50. Who was the vote for Angelina? Well, it wasn't Ozzy. It was Stephanie. What did I think of this? Well, the main thing I would really miss about Q was him presenting the Q skirt. I thought that was funny. And honestly, his chaoticness in 46 kind of made the season a little bit interesting. Just a little. But I didn't think that Q was going to last long anyway. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be much to miss about him. But now, since Stephanie voted with the minority, well, technically she is the minority because she's the only one who voted Angelina, I do think that Stephanie might be in trouble should her tribe lose the next immunity challenge. So that's it for episode 3 of the Survivor 50 recap. 3 episodes in Survivor 50, and I gotta say, I'm a fan. I mean, some of these new era seasons have not been so good. Well, some of them are really good. But some, they don't really meet everybody's expectations. But Survivor 50 is really good so far. And I'm really excited to see how the rest of this goes. Because there's still 20 people left, and they got like 18 days left. So there's going to be bound to be a lot of interesting twists moving forward. I don't know, we'll have to find out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.